On this episode of the Uplink, Matt Regan tells us if EA's reboot of the 1993 classic Syndicate lives up to the success of the original.
Having trouble making your external hard drive compatible with multiple operating systems? Learn how to fix this issue on this week's Hackers.
And finally, a sad day for file sharers everywhere. The beloved torrenting website, The Pirate Bay, might be closing its ports thanks to a recent UK High Court case.
All this and more on today's episode of the Uplink.
Hercules! Welcome to the Uplink. This is your place for everything video games, tech, and movies. I'm Steve Selnick.
And I'm Marion Mason.
Oh, what a great show we have for you today.
We do.
What do we got?
Our movie.
Act of Valor.
Act of Valor. We've got Syndicate.
We have this magic iPad. Oh my goodness. All right, so I was actually, something was presented to me the other day and I thought it was really cool and I wanted to show it to you. It's called On Live Desktop. On Live Desktop. It's actually a way for you to have Windows on your iPad. It's really a magical thing. And
why would you want that?
Why would you want that? It's because Windows actually does have some really cool professional stuff to it, but it is really bogged down by the fact that you're going to get a virus 2 seconds within opening your computer. So it really mixes the best of both worlds. You have the Mac hardware, which is really not susceptible to anything bad, and you have the Windows programs where you can run really cool things like Word and Excel and PowerPoint, and it doesn't want to load right now, but when it does, I can give it to you. Oh, no, it's not going to load for me. So anyway, that was going to be really cool if I could have shown it to you. Everyone boo this because it sucks. Boo. Okay, so I guess I'm not really giving it a free ad, but now that your eyes have kind of not really been open to the magic of Windows, but it exists, I swear to you.
It is here.
It is there. It's time for our web recap.
Have you ever wasted countless hours with the camera in your hand, waiting for your cat to do something cool? Steve, you don't have a cat.
I know, that's why people think it's really weird.
Well, one person got sick of waiting and slapped some bass on that cat. So smart.
So I can definitely make the argument that cat videos are way better with dubstep. I'm sure you would argue with me because you actually own a cat. But I think we can definitely list some things that are better with dubstep.
Waiting in line places. Grocery store. DMV.
DMV, although that would be like a 2-hour-long dubstep song. You would be...
Your ears might bleed.
Sure.
But...
The sex scene from Brokeback Mountain. Imagine with dubstep, right? You guys can totally hear it and see it.
Has
Maybe
someone
not
done
see
that
it.
yet?
Yeah.
All right, I gotta put the blindfold on, pick up the log, and throw it into the bin. Just like that. Where's the log at? Strip our feet. Can I just throw it? Yep. Oh!
It pains me so much.
Oh, God.
Well, we're going to toss it over to someone who definitely doesn't have any problem taking it to you if you make her angry. I learned that lesson last week.
You did.
It's time for Bree Baxter with the stream. Bree, take it away.
Welcome to the stream. I'm Bree Baxter. Today is Tuesday, February 28th, and here's what's coming in on your news stream. Apple has announced their latest operating system, Mountain Lion. This update will include various new additions to your Mac. Two notable additions are the brand new iChat called Messages, which will be similar to iMessage on the iPhone, and AirPlay mirroring, allowing users to mirror their computer screen onto their television with an Apple TV. Twitter will also be built into the OS, making it easier for anyone to tweet right out of iPhoto and Safari. There are plenty more updates, including Notification Center, Reminders, Notes, and Game Center.
With OS X Lion, we brought some of the fundamental elements of the iPad experience to the Mac. This summer, Less than a year later, we're taking that experience even further with OS X Mountain Lion.
For a full list of everything that Mountain Lion will have to offer, you can visit apple.com. The England and Wales High Courts have ruled that both the operators and users of the popular file-sharing website, the Pirate Bay, have violated copyrights of music labels. No kidding. This may lead to the website being blocked in the UK. This comes after a string of other websites being shut down by Great Britain's Serious Organized Crime Agency. Last week, the popular site R&B Exclusive was shut down and the owner was arrested for fraud. Justice Richard Arnold says operators of these sites induce, incite, and persuade copyright infringement. Get ready to return to Animus, everyone! Assassin's Creed 3 is official. According to Ubisoft CEO Yi Jimo, the game has been in the works for over 3 years, and it looks great. Jimo says the game is the true next generation of both the Assassin's Creed brand and interactive entertainment in general. The game will be released on Xbox, PS3, and PC, and it is set to hit shelves on October 30th. It is looking more and more likely that the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is in the works. A French gaming blog revealed that Activision is working on Black Ops 2. The blog says Activision demanded they take down the story. When the blog declined the request, Activision withdrew their invite to the new Transformers movie preview event. Needless to say, they weren't that disappointed. Just a week earlier, the news was leaked on Amazon's French portal, but was quickly taken down. Only time will tell, but it's looking like a sequel may in fact be in the works. I'm Bree Baxter, and this stream is over. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Bree, and please never hit me again. Now it's time for Real Talk, and this week we sent our movie expert Phil Rosenberg to go see Act of Valor. Let's check it out.
3 days ago, 2 CIA agents were ambushed inside their hotel room.
Before she was captured, Morales was working in a jihadist cell. It could be why she was abducted.
So many explosions, yes! Please welcome Phil Rosenberg. Yeah!
Thank you.
What's going on, Phil? How are you, man?
I'm good, Steve.
Good, good. So we sent you to go see Act of Valor this week, a kind of real-ish war movie. What were your thoughts going into it?
Going into it, I definitely had high hopes for it. I wanted to see how they would handle actual U.S. Navy SEALs playing Navy SEALs in a movie. It wasn't a documentary, it was a narrative story.
Right.
And I thought it was going to be great. I thought the explosions were going to be awesome. I thought the action was going to be great.
So to clarify, there were some Navy SEALs. There were some Navy SEALs in the movie and some actual actors as well.
Yes.
So it was a good mix. Did that work?
Not so much because the main actors were the Navy SEAls and they're not really actors, so they don't really know how to play themselves, I guess.
Which is weird because they've trained forever to do
really
that sort of thing. Yeah. So what did you like about Act of Valor? How did it do well for you?
The action scenes, which I thought I would like, I loved. There was one scene where they're being chased by these terrorists and the boats come in and just start shooting bullets everywhere and there's huge explosions. It was very well done. It was really cool. And then there's one part where the guy shoots a terrorist. He does a power slide. It was pretty awesome.
Power slides and big booms, the
Pretty
perfect concoction for a movie.
Yep.
What didn't you like about Act of Valor?
Once again, the acting just wasn't on par.
Wasn't
It just seemed like so fake. There were some scenes. There was a surfing scene. The two main actors, they tried to make it more of like a buddy type film. They tried to put some substance in it, but it really didn't work that well.
Didn't really translate?
Not really.
No, and you would be surprised that they can't really. Is it more of like a Navy recruitment film?
It's basically like a
It's
90-minute
like
Navy commercial.
Navy commercial.
Much.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 5 stars, what are we giving this thing?
I'm gonna have to say I'm giving it a 2 out of 5.
Okay, another 2 out of 5 from Phil. Well, thank you, Phil. It's time for our first commercial break, but when we return, Matt Regan will be here with his review of the highly anticipated reboot of Syndicate. Do not go anywhere. All right, so welcome, Matt. We had you review Syndicate, obviously, the reboot of a 1993 classic that apparently no one's heard about because I've talked to a lot of people about it and they have no idea. But the 1993 version was obviously very old, and it's from kind of like a bird's eye view, and it's a tactical shooter. What's different about this reboot of Syndicate?
Well, this game's a first-person shooter,
Okay.
which is really awesome. You know, you're only dealing with your own character. You always, well, most of the time operate alone, so it's really just you out there. It's a whole lot of fun, a bunch of bad guys to be shooting down. It's a great first-person shooter, yeah.
And games, we've already done the movies, games that kind of have representations of the future are always interesting.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
this future is a scary one.
Oh,
it's
so
scary as all heck.
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying.
It takes place. The game takes place in 2069, and you're an agent for this corporation. You're being sent on technological espionage. The idea is everyone's plugged into like a computer chip in their brain, which kind of plugs them into the dataverse, as they call it, and so you have this super awesome chip in your head, and it lets you do a whole bunch of really great stuff. Like you can slow down time, and you can see the world in an infrared scope, so you can find your bad guys real quick. And you can manipulate the world around you. It's really awesome.
That sounds like a lot of cool futuristic features. How was the story?
And the storyline, I mean, you know, being part of the whole thing is just awesome. Like, again, you are an agent, you know, trying to find these computer chips and steal data to and from corporations. It's really awesome. It's really compelling. I will say, though, there's a lot of names and there's a lot of different corporations you got to try to focus on. So it gets a little complicated at times, but it's still pretty awesome.
So you're basically just stealing from everyone. All for one and one for all. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you really like? You talked about the infrared and you talked about the story.
Yeah, I mean,
the gameplay in general is fairly smooth.
Yeah, it is. It is very smooth. And there are a lot of cool animations. Like you can do an awesome Phil Rosenberg power slide, and you can power slide. You know, you can like snap people's necks and stuff. It's really fun. And there are a whole lot of futuristic things that your chip lets you do. You can manipulate other people into doing things that you want. You can make them fight on your side for a little bit.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Anything that kind of fell flat for you?
I mean, it did get really repetitive. There were a lot of cool features, like I've been talking about, but every mission is the same objective. You got to go find a chip, and you got to kill hordes of bad guys to get there.
Awesome, yeah.
And it's the same sort of environment over and over and over and over again.
So out of 5 stars, what are we giving Syndicate?
For a first-person shooter, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars.
4 out of 5 stars for Matt Regan, our first positive one, yeah! Well, thank you, Matt, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing everything that Syndicate has to offer. But have you ever really been excited to share that new adult video with your friends, only to find that your Mac external hard drive doesn't sync up to his PC? Rats. Well, the Uplink has you covered in this week's Hackers.
So it's spring break and you're at your grandma's house, and she wants to see all the work you've done over the last semester at school. So you pick up your handy-dandy hard drive and you plug it in her computer to show her everything that you've done. Surprise, her computer doesn't even recognize that your hard drive's there. That's because your hard drive is using a different file system than the one that her computer was using. Today I'm going to show you how to format your external hard drive to a format that both Windows and Mac OS can recognize. Remember that reformatting your hard drive deletes all the information on it. So first thing you have to do is back up your external hard drive. I've already done that here. What file system are you using that's so special, you may ask? It's a relatively new system called Extended File Allocation Table, or just exFAT for short. This system can only be accessed by fairly new computers, so go online to make sure your OS is compatible. exFAT has the advantage over FAT32 in that it can store files over 4 gigabytes in size. Now let's go inside your computer to format your hard drive and get everything up and running. The first thing to do is double check that your operating system can read exFAT drives. So we're just going to check that by clicking on the Apple and going to About This Mac. It says right here that we're running Mac OS X version 10.6.8, which is newer than 10.6.5, so we're just fine. Then we go to Disk Utility and select the external hard drive we want to reformat. We hit Erase and select our new format, exFAT. Then we hit execute, and when it's finished, you can move your data back to the drive and rest easy knowing that it can be read by both Mac and Windows computers.
That's so helpful. I'm really glad I got to know how to do that.
Well, now before we toss out of here, we actually got OnLive working.
Yay!
Yay! So you can see that. You can see the actual windows on here. You have Windows, you have your Excel and your PowerPoint. So that's what OnLive looks like.
That's what it looks
It's
like.
free for a subscription, and $5 extra a month will get you Adobe Reader. So that's that. We can show it to you. Yeah.
Yeah, it is there. All right, well, now it's time for our second commercial break. But when we come back, scholar Paul Niwa will be here to talk to us about the state of video game journalism. Stay tuned. Please welcome to the Uplink, Paul Niwa. So can you tell us a little bit about how video game journalism started out in the 80s and 90s and how it's progressed today?
Yeah, video games were really different because I remember going to my friend's place when I was like 9 years old and playing an Atari 2600. He was like the cool kid on the block for having that thing. And we were just playing Pong and Asteroids and all in black and white with the white, you know, like outlines and stuff. And it was just really cool. And then when Tank Invader came out, that was even bigger. So it just went on from there. Yeah, like N64 and PS, the original PS and everything. So yeah, it's just amazing to me to see games today, like on my PS3 and my Xbox 360. It's like so realistic.
Yeah, and how has like video game journalism, you know, dealt with that?
Well, it's always been war against kids. It's always been reactionary. It's been a bunch like tipper gores running around criticizing their kids. And I think that's what adults do really well is, you know, try to criticize and put down their kids. So the only problem right now is that the kids, the first generation of gamers, are now middle-aged. And it's just bizarre to me to be playing on the PSN network and hearing people say, hey, go to bed. I told you.
Like the people
to go
playing
to
on
bed.
Xbox
Right.
Live telling their kids to go eat their broccoli.
Yeah, it's just really great. But the thing is, journalists have not realized that. Journalists don't realize that the people on these gaming networks are people who are like 45 years old with a family and stuff. And they're still treating video games like kids. Now, the middle-aged folks playing these games don't want to raise their hand and say, hey guys, I'm among the folks, the kids you're talking about. So that's part of the problem too. So video games have never been taken seriously, and they really should, because the innovations of tomorrow, and I say like, not like tomorrow, like 20 years from now, I mean like next year, the year following, that we're looking at today for learning, for simulating, for displaying information, the technologies that are going to make America great are in the gaming laboratories right now being created. When I look at, say, MW3, there is so much data coming at me, and you need all that data, and they're so good at displaying it in a way that I can digest it. Now, can you imagine what a stock market trader could do with that kind of innovation? Yeah.
If only.
Right.
If
right.
only.
And that's where things are going, because I was blown away a couple of years ago. I went over to one of the big banks in Wall Street. And over at Bear Stearns, when it was still around, in their lobby, they had this, and it was a Nintendo 64 that was hooked up to stock market data. And it was rendering it in 3D, and use a game controller to see currency trades going around the world.
That's amazing. We definitely need more of that in the world. Well, thank you so much for coming in and talking with us. Paul Niwa, everyone. Now this week, Claudia Mack took to the streets to find out what people thought about the recent crackdowns on torrenting and downloads. Let's take a look.
Hey guys, I'm Claudia Mack, and I'm here at Faneuil Hall to ask people how they feel about government interference with file sharing sites such as Mega Upload and thepiratebay.org. Do you get your music from iTunes?
Yes, normally I do.
I usually get music from CDs, to be honest with you.
Mainly I get it from YouTube Converter.
Oh, okay.
But it's not really illegal.
Do you use any illegal file sharing sites?
I actually didn't know that Mediafire?
Mediafire, yeah.
Mediafire was illegal.
Yeah, I used Mega Upload a lot to watch movies and stuff at college.
Have you heard of Mega Upload and other file sharing sites? Yeah.
Yes.
Being shut down in the U.S.
Yes, I was very happy about that.
Oh, really?
Yes, because I always buy my music legally. And being a professional musician, I totally understand.
In the past, I downloaded stuff before, but then when you read some things about people getting arrested or getting in trouble, you know, maybe it makes you think twice.
How do you feel about a 55-year sentence for running a file sharing site?
I honestly think it's too much.
I don't know much about it, but it sounds a little extreme. 55 years sounds a little overboard.
It's ridiculous. I mean, people get off with murder and stuff for like 2 years and they're getting 50. It's ridiculous.
That's definitely rough. It's half of your life.
It's ridiculous.
I think the government is not just trying to shut down some website. I think it's just trying to control the internet.
So it seems like most people nowadays are either buying or streaming their music. Anything to avoid that 50-year jail sentence. Back to you guys.
Oh, this is really awkward that you're clapping because last week was Steve Jobs' birthday. Ooh. Or as we like to say, the man who revolutionized surfing the internet while doing your business.
You mean like bathroom business or like business business?
We're going to go with both. Yeah, we'll go with both, yeah.
Talk about pulling a double shift. Well, Twitter obviously had a lot to say about the Apple creator, so let's look at our favorites on trending this week.
At Goku says, "Happy birthday, Steve Jobs. Don't let King Yama eat all your birthday cake." I see now. That'll be an interesting conversation if he lets him into heaven or hell or not, and you would only know that if you're a nerd like me.
At Twitter Whale said, "Happy birthday, Steve Jobs. In honor of you, I'm giving my boss a present. The new iQuit."
That is not going to end well for you. No.
Sorry, dude.
That's not a registered app yet. Sorry, buddy. So at MTV India says, "Happy birthday, Steve Jobs. We hope for your sake heaven is Wi-Fi enabled." I could have sworn by now Starbucks was up there. I'm
sure.
Yeah, and they have
sure
all
you
the
can
free
get there.
Wi-Fi he'd ever want.
At Depressed Darth said, "Happy birthday, Steve Jobs. I'm currently in talks with George Lucas to have your ghost added to the end of Return of the Jedi."
Of course, the Star Wars one always hits it really well.
Of course.
Well, a couple things with that. Yoda will no longer be the character with the least amount of hair. And I'm not sure Anakin would be down with that. I'm not going to lie.
I don't know how that'd work out. You could
It'd
use
be-
the
it would be
iPhone
really cool to see.
lightsaber app, you know, that everyone has,
Mhm.
and they'll just use that for fighting instead.
That'd be really cool,
That'd be
actually.
funny.
That'd be awesome.
At Mayo Mac said, "Guess what, Twitter? Today is also my birthday, and I'm still alive.
Ugh.
Make do with what you've got. Hashtag happy birthday, Steve Jobs."
That's right. Boo, you stink.
What?
But on the real, Steve Jobs was a complete visionary, and we do miss you very much. So
We
thank
do.
you for everything that you've done to us. But unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today's show. Please come back next week to keep up with the latest and greatest in the news that we actually care about.
We've got some great reviews for you. Matt Regan will be here with what he thought of Mass Effect 3, and Phil Rosenberg will be giving us his 2 cents about John Carter.
I'm so excited for that movie.
I am too.
I
I'm
keep
excited for
talking
Mass
to people
Effect.
and they're like not excited for it, but I am pumped for it. I don't care what you say.
I'm pumped for everything.
See you next time.
Bye.